Some of us have jobs. Some of us have jobs. Some of us are still students. But for some reason, we're able to merge these things together and find a way to make it work. And trust me, it is not easy. Some of us have families, right? And combining all of these things, most times it is not easy. It's not easy at all. And what I would say is congratulations to you guys. We have been there. And trust me, if you just focus on what you've been doing, and I want to believe that a lot of us have been solving past questions along this line. We've been solving past questions. Just focus. And this period, I know a lot of distractions are going to come, like coming from this side, from that side. You know what you want to do. Just focus on it. For those of us doing writing present, I know that this period will have a lot of people that have their drafted reports, different methods, and all of that. So stick to what you know and what you've been preparing for. The moment you begin to switch, you begin to get confused. And right now, you don't need confusion. You need strategy to pass this exam. Because I want a situation whereby all of us, those of us writing 5 papers, 4, 2, 3, 1, I want a situation whereby when we all get there, we'll enter there with so much confidence. And how do you build this confidence? It's just your preparedness level. How you prepare, how you solve, how you've solved your questions. In fact, at this level, if you're solving questions, I want to believe that we're able to solve 80% of the question, at least. When we know that you may not be able to solve it accurately or correctly, but if you're able to solve like 80% of the questions, at least that's a gateway to success. That's a gateway. So when you're solving your questions, ensure that you're able to get 80% of the questions correctly. That way, besides I can say attempt, that way you'll be sure that okay, you're on the pathway to success. Most times I don't like to give people area of concentration because a lot of people get misguided with area of concentration. So me personally, I don't, that's Mr. Ibrahim's area. He would give you area of concentration, but that's not to say that you should not study your syllables. You should study your syllables, get acquainted with every topic so that what happened to me some diets ago will not happen to you. It's not a good experience. So get yourself acquainted, familiarize yourself with all the topics. Once you familiarize yourself with all the topics, you discover that in the hall, when you're writing your question, when you're answering your question, even though you do not know it, but then you have an idea. So that way, you have a way of attempting the question and not going off key. So try to cover at least a large amount of syllables, a large amount of your topic, of your syllables. Try to cover it so that you will not be Ican will not joins you in the hall. Do you get? So on that note, I'll say congrats to you guys. I wish you guys success. I wish you the best. And I hope that those of us that have one paper, in fact, I hope that all of us will write this paper and not have any reference in the course of your exam. That is my deepest. And please, please, let us not be tensed right now. No, anxiety will not help us right now. Do your part and leave the rest to God, right? But none of them works in isolation. Grace doesn't work in isolation. I keep telling people you can't sit down and not study and say the grace of God would abide in me. It's a lie. Grace of God will not abide in you. It doesn't work like that. So you have to do the work, do the hard work, then God will perfect it for you. Then God will finish it up for you. Okay. So Mr. Ibrahim, area of concentration, please. I leave the floor for you, Mr. Ibrahim.
Okay, thank you so much, Christy. I think my guy is actually Mr. Razak. Mr. Razak, are you there? Mr. Razak.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Over to you, sir. Okay.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
I
sir.
also want to appreciate everyone for your time, your perseverance, your dedication, the commitments, and your zeal, your dream. So it was never a smooth journey, and no one promised us as well that it would be smooth. and that's what makes it icon, right? So we want to appreciate everyone. Personally, I appreciate everyone for all your time and all your attention in class and everything you did. So I really appreciate everyone. Thank you all for joining. And just like as Miss Christie has told every one of us, you need to be very careful in the exams, right? You need to pay attention to the details. There are times that even a minus can change everything you're doing. Okay, so please ensure you stay focused. Don't stop reading. It is never too late, no matter your level of preparedness now. You need to start and you need to pray. All right. So I wish everyone the very success you need in this November diet exams. God be with you all. God bless everyone. And thank you once again. See you all at the top.
Right. Thank you so much, Mauga. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. I think I will just start from the okay, maybe advanced tax, right? Now, excuse me. In advanced tax, there are some important topics like maybe you already know that these topics they can't do without them, right? The what is it called? The capital gains tax, maybe 20 marks or 15 marks. The hydrocarbon tax, right? Hydrocarbon tax in addition to company income tax. So most times it can come together, or they can actually separate. Maybe they can actually separate income tax from what is it called, hydrocarbon tax, or what is it called, the pioneer legislation, right? The addition of company income tax plus pioneer legislation. These are the topics that yes, directly or indirectly, it will actually show, right? Then we should not equally forget the DTA, which is the double taxation agreement, right? Talks about the international taxation, right? So those parties also very, very important, right? Then we already know compulsory question can be either company income tax plus pioneer or hydrocarbon tax, right? Then capital gains tax, 20 to 15 marks. DTA, double taxation or international taxation, we follow all these things. So then the part of, the written part of it is open, right? Is actually open. So you make sure you cover up, yes, the written, the administration, planning, and all that, right? So these are what I actually have from the from what is it called, advanced tax, right? Now I'm still in skill professional level actually, so I have to start from professional, right, for a reason. So now we now proceed to maybe SFM, right? SFM, now we have what is it called, the strategic management part of it, right? The strategic management part. You see that strategic management part, whether we like it or not, it will come, because the way Ican, we want to test your knowledge on scenario base. Now, what are the strategic management tools you should be looking at, or the strategic management? You need to check for what is it called, the risk management, the corporate governance, then the ethics. There will be a scenario base, right? Then your model, the strategic management to the pestle and all that. There will be a case scenario whereby you have to analyze that case based on, maybe identify some ethical issues from the risk management talks about the business risks, right? Excuse me. Talks about the business risk, the credit risk, and all that, right? So you need to know that side, that part of it, maybe 20 marks question or 15 marks question, right? Now, the other part is I'm looking at what is it called? APV, right? So I'm looking at adjusted present value and international investment, right? Because if you check for like I think 3 to 4 diets now, right? I can easier to test question on adjusted present value and international investment as well, right? So it may not be business valuation as usual. It may be, but it is not. The probability is like maybe 50% because 0.3, right? Because they've been setting it, they will be setting questions on compulsory question on valuation, free cash flow, and all that. So I'm just looking at it. I've been expecting last diet. I actually expect APV and international investment, but still the institute still test valuation. So that side is very important. The adjusted present value and international investment and yeah, adjusted present value. You see, those two questions that we actually solved in class. I don't know. I like for my analysis. I don't know. Maybe it will come like that. I don't know. But just make sure you go over it again. Go over it again. Understand the steps, right? Because sometimes when you see something that you know, because you want to do it the way I did it in class, right? So it may not work like that. Just understand the steps. So once you understand, I believe you'll be able to move, right? So international investment as well, for like I think for like 6 diets now, no international investment. Like I was like, what happened? International investment. So I don't know, maybe compulsory question or 20 marks question, just like the way they did a decision tree. And nobody knows that decision tree will come as 20 marks question last diet, right? So that is it. So if you check last diet, you will see that this two test question on foreign currency, right? And which aspect of foreign currency, the part of the forward rate, currency features, and all that, right? And we should not equally forget that option is an hedging tools, right? Option is an hedging tools, right? So it is not, if you check the diet, we can have the institute has not actually test question on foreign and still test option. It can be either foreign or option. So I'm looking at option this time around, not foreign, not forward rate and future. This is my own opinion actually, right? So you may choose to follow it and you may choose not to, right? It's just my own analysis, right? I'm not saying that you should not check for other. I'm just saying it, right, as my own opinion. So we check what is it called? The option. And which aspect of option am I looking at? I'm looking at the part of maybe option to abandon, option to delay, all those aspects of option. Then the time value, the intrinsic value of an option. Those aspects are very important aspects you need to. Then the Black-Scholes model, then the delta neutral hedging tools, right? So all those other parts, you need to know it because what if the question may come? The last time the institute test question on intrinsic value, performance was very poor. We checked November, I think 2022 or 2023 there, but performance was actually very poor. That is intrinsic value and the time value of an option, right? So we need to move to the other part, which is valuation. You see, valuation can come at 20 marks question this time around, right? Then everybody will like, valuation of what? Yes, valuation may come out 15 marks to 20 marks question, right? Valuation. But the question is, which aspect are we expecting this? If you look at it very well, free cash flow, well, or the usual, the minimum price, the I'm not even expecting the asset base as usual. Well, if it comes, fine, right? All those questions that we actually solved in class, those questions are very important, right? Both in intensive as well as what the general class. Those questions are very examinable questions, right? So I think lastly on this is if you look at if you check investment appraiser, there is one topic subtopic under investment appraiser under investment appraiser that has it has been the topic has been what underrated like for diets, and nobody is even talking about it, right? Nobody is even talking about it again. That is replacement theory. You know, it's just there. Even Liz is just there, and nobody is even talking about Liz for like 3, 4, 5, 6 diet. No Liz, it's just there. Look at the way the institute just bring a decision tree. We used to think, decision tree will not be tested at professional level, but it surprised everybody. Like, is decision tree in the syllabus? Yes, it is in the what syllabus. So you need to cover all those parts very well, right? So nobody knows where the institute will actually what bring questions on all this. So I think that's all. I think that's what I have based on that. And the bond valuation, right? You can use any other topics as what is it called? You can use all other topics as a backup. Make sure you study it and all that, right? So I think that was all. That is what I actually have in SFM, right? We still have there is this because when I check the syllabus, portfolio theory, skills level, portfolio theory, professional level, or like, okay, which aspect did they want to even test under this portfolio theory itself? If we check out, if you look at portfolio theory, like even some the past diet, no portfolio, but the institute usually test something under the what is it called? Under the portfolio theory, which is all these their assumptions of capital asset pricing model system. If you check last diet question, right? Systematic risks, on system, all those places. What nobody knows if questions will come from that angle, right? But don't forget about the whole of the cost of capital, right? Those questions that we right? Excuse me. So those questions that we actually solved in class, right? Those questions are very, very important. In fact, all those questions that we solve in both general class as well as intensive class are very important. Imagine, I think the diet I wrote, what is it called? SFM, right? The questions I solved, I've solved that question, let's say more than 5 times. I just saw it like that, like no addition, no subtraction. I think about 3 to 4 questions. I saw 3 questions on valuation, 1 question on objective of the financial management, right? Excuse me, which talks about whether objective 1 was met or objective 2 was met. I think I solved that question with FM students, right? So I just saw it 4 questions. I was like, oh, this diet is good, though. Just move on, right? Immediately after the exam, I already know that I passed this one already because I was like, it's 4 questions, like 4 questions. So, and that is the reason why when I want to take a class, I usually do my research very well to see the worst case scenario. So please go back to all those questions, make sure you solve it and all that. So I think that is what I actually have in SFM, right? In SFM. So in other parts, which other part do we have? I think my Oga we speak on the SBR part. Mr. Razak is still here. Mr. Razak will take us through the SBR. Mr. Razak, are you still there? Mr. Razak. Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Hold on.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Please, can you walk us through the SBR?
Okay. All right, guys. So for SBR, so thank you, Mr. Ibrahim, for those ones you've taken. We've taken note of them. I think before we move, I'd like to have to. I think you mentioned something on what's it called? ATAX, right? Mr.
Yes.
Ibrahim.
Yes, boss.
Okay, so that's ATAX. I'd like to quickly add something to it before we go into SBI. So for A tax, sorry, for A tax, now we know those items, key items that ICANN would always want to touch on, and some of them are our used to be petroleum profit tax, right, which is now hydrocarbon tax, right? The hydrocarbon tax, your company income tax, those two things are very key, right? Hydrocarbon tax, company income tax, CGT, right? Then you see those items, those topics, they are topics that you will always see in ICANN, all right, and in your CGT, you might be looking at higher purchase. Do you understand? Or they give you different scenarios, and then you have to extract all the items you have there and treat them based on CGT. All right. So those items, please take note of them. Then which other one? I think that's basically it. Your your company income tax, hydrocarbon tax. And when I say company income tax, I'm sure you understand that part of your company income tax is your capital allowance. It's definitely not going anywhere. You will see it there. Capital allowance is always there under your company income tax. All right. Then also another one you can have is pioneer status. And although pioneer status is coming to extinction, but regardless, you really can't say that pioneer status is also uh, will be completely eradicated. Okay, so all those items, please, let's take note of them. Now, then, of course, you have a theory, and in your theory, you can have uh, digital taxation of digital economy, merger and acquisition, uh, what do we call double taxation? Yes. So all those things you can have them. It's been long I can't tested special businesses, but you never can tell. It can come out. It's always a bonus if I can, or whenever I can test it. Okay, so all those items, please, we need to take note of them. They are not that much. A tax might not be that much because most of the aspects have been covered in your taxation level. But of course, there are many aspects of it. You need to take note of them, right? And your hydrocarbon tax, don't forget that your hydrocarbon tax is now a a dual, I wouldn't call it a double tax, but a dual tax, a two-in-one tax. And what makes it two-in-one is the fact that you have to sort the elements of uh what do we call this topic? Petroleum profit tax, and also the element of company income tax, right? So let's take note of that, the tax rates and the rest of them. Then also, uh, I think I can leave that now and then come to SBR. For your SBR, we already know that what's the name of this topic? A consolidated financial statement is very important, all right? And in our consolidated financial statement, of course, we are looking at the complicated aspect of it, right? Yes, you did consolidated financial statements in your skills level, but it's definitely coming back again at the professional level. Consolidated financial statement, all right? Then you'll be looking at the consolidated cash flow statement, consolidated income statement, statement of financial position. All right. Yes, it can be an all-encompassing financial statement like that. Now, whether we like it or not, we are expecting theoretical aspect of this material as well. All right. So, of course, take note of your chapter one, chapter two, that is the conceptual framework, the ethical issues, all those things have always come to us and we've always known them. Now, the fact that you are taking consolidated financial statement does not mean you should ignore separate financial statements. Separate financial statements do come out very well. Okay, so we need to look at that. Then in our IFRS and in our standards generally, IS standards, the IFRS standards, all those standards we are expecting not less than 2 to 4 of them in a particular diet, at least, like to be tested, like tested, that you know that this thing is centered at this particular topic, right? So your changes in accounting estimates, don't forget that all those IAS, including IAS 40, IAS 16, IAS 38, 37, I so all those IAS, please take note of them, right? IFRS 15 is also there, contract, right? Revenue from contract. So all those things, please let's take note um of them. Then also we can have a discontinued operation, okay? Discontinued operation or asset held for sale. Of course, that's still under the the that I mentioned earlier. And also, don't forget, I can included lease, right? For a tax also, there is accounting for lease in a tax. So this lease, please take note of it. It's a very new topic. And take note in all the new topics that have been included in this uh in your syllabus, in all the new topics, at least one of them is coming out. In all the new topics, at least one of them is coming out. Even though I can tell you that they are not examinable until May 2026 diet, but it's a lie. At least one of them is coming out. Okay, so take note of that. Your IS 12 income tax is also very important. Employee benefits also is very important. All right. So for SBR, now your employee benefits is not just short term, long term benefits, post employment benefits. No, it's far beyond that. All right. You need to understand where we have shared based payment. All right. Where we have all our what do we call this, actuarial gains and losses and the rest of them. Okay, so we need to be careful and we need to look at all those things. So the equity settlement of share-based payment and the cash settlement as well, please look into that. The fair value measurement is also important. Okay. Then also, yeah, exploration of mineral resources is also one of the new topics that we have. All right, let's take note of that. I've mentioned consolidated financial statement before, and don't forget, as you are taking consolidated financial statement, you're also taking investment in associate joint ventures, all of them business combinations. They are all together. I hope we are all familiar with that. So that's why when we are treating them as well, we're treating them together, right? Your consolidated financial statement, I mentioned consolidated cash flow statement. That doesn't mean consolidate. I mean, that doesn't mean a separate cash flow statement cannot come out. And the diet I wrote for my SBR, which was corporate reporting then, I think it was cash flow statement that came out. Yeah, cash flow statement came out as question one also. So that's it. And it's a separate cash flow statement. I don't know if it was skills or professional, but I know something like that came out. Question one was cash flow statement. Yeah, probably it was in my skills level though. Okay, that's that. Then yes, your EPS, earning per share, your ratio analysis, your EPS, your ratio analysis, right? If you look at it very well, I've almost mentioned all the topics. So what I'm trying to say here in essence is that the topics you give them very important attention. All right, give them very much important attention. Read, solve past questions, please. Right now, you need to start solving past questions. Okay, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out as well. Okay, so those are the things. Please take note of all these topics, and I wish you all success in every of your papers. I think I'll stop here now. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, sir. Christy. Christy. Okay.
Yes, yes, I'm here. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. You can go ahead, please, Mr. Beniza.
Mr. Beniza.
All right, so good evening, everyone. I think this is one of the most important aspects of this session. Uh, by and large, you have undertaken required numbers of lectures, and I want to believe that you are preparing yourselves. I may not be speaking on area of concentration because I don't think it's actually my area of strength. But I will tell you the few strategies that I believe that you can utilize for you to pass your exams. And why strategy? Because passing your ICANN exam is not about reading from cover to cover. It's about knowing exactly what to do in the examination hall. For instance, we understand that you have just 3 hours to attempt 5 questions. That 3 hours, always thinking in the mind of your mind that you are only being asked to attempt, that is, to give us a logical conclusions as per the questions that you are being asked. What do you think should be the right thing to be done? It is your opinion, and as long as it is in line with what we have taken you through, or what the ICANN pack have said, you are going to get your mark. Now, it begins, your passing of exams begins with your level of confidence in approaching the exams. That is the beginning of the beginning, your level of confidence. You see, by now, a lot of you will be scared. But what I would tell you for a fact is, the more you feel you don't know anything, let me tell you for a fact that the more you know. The more you are thinking that I've not covered, the more you have covered. So in a nutshell, have this confidence that your ability is just to be tested. That is that for that. Then number two thing that I will speak on is the way and manner you are to answer your questions in exam hall. The truth also is this: a lot of persons fail not because they did not write. The people that have wrote in the past, not because they did not write what is ahead of them, but the way and manner at which they put down some of those their answers are not the ways that it should be done. For instance, for those of you that are writing FR, SBR, now it is when they ask you to do anything in terms of maybe preparing on any of the financial statement. If you fail to put down the name of the company in your solution, that is the beginning of failure. If you fail to put down the currency that is required, that is the beginning of failure. We will assume, if you like, solve the whole question, get everything right. And but then you did not put currency there. We will just assume that your solution is maybe for Uganda citizens, now not for Nigeria as it were, and then they will mark you wrong. So the beginning of your passing this exam is all about you being able to get attentive to the questions that you have been asked. Very, very much of interest to me is how you attempt questions. Some of us that passed this exam, we did not read, like that. We got there, we use our residual knowledge, and we attempted some of these questions, and then we passed. And that's why I will always say this: that it is not about you reading from cover to cover. It is about you being able to, prepare in your own little way. And I will say this as number 3 point, that God always crown effort. If you do not put in any effort, you are coming back to write the exam. I can tell you for a fact. But if you are putting some effort, some level of effort, I will tell you for a fact that God crowns effort. Some of us, we have written in the past, and we will come out and say we don't even know what we wrote. And then results will come out, they will tell us that we have 70 something. What I wrote down, I don't know. That is where the God factor comes into play. So prepare yourself, put in your efforts, ensure that you get adequate rest. When you are reading and the thing is not entering, if it's football you can read, watch, go and watch. If it is to go and watch one movie for 20 minutes, go and watch movie. As long as you feel your head is not carrying anything again, relax. the head is full and the head need to relax. So relax that head. You understand now? Now, between today, tomorrow, and Monday, I can tell you for a fact that even if you have not covered much, you can still cover. Strategically, you can still cover. So please, don't go into the exam more getting scared. Once your docket is out, please prepare your docket. Put it in one place. Put it in it. Get it ready. If you are going to your exam more, please, as much as it is possible, wear slippers. I will advise, don't wear shoe and go there. Wear your slippers. Go with your docket, your pencil or your biro. You don't need pencil in exam more. What do you want to use pencil to do? Go with your calculator, your biro, and then your docket. Those three items are enough for you to enter into the exam hall. And when they are checking in students, be there early to check in yourself and settle down. For those of you that are writing for the first time, I will advise you 15 minutes before the time, be part of those that they are checking in. Because I will tell you for a fact, you being able to even locate where your number is in the hall is time wasting in itself. And you being able to settle down, they give you question on time is another advantage to you. Sometimes they give the question before 9, where you have to start. And then those few minutes before that 9 o'clock, you can use it to peruse and check through the questions and know which one you are to answer. And that on that note also, let me go to the answering of question strategy. I am begging you and I will beg you again. Apart from case study, which is being done at the professional level, all other exams that you are writing, don't go and start checking question 1. Don't check question 1. If you check question 1, it may give you blood pressure in the exam hall because the thing will carry weight and then you won't be able to attempt the question again. Your morale will drop. That confidence will go down. And once it's down, that is the end of it. You understand now? So go and start from question 7 and try to read the one that you can attempt. Then attempt at least 2 or 3 questions before you go to question 1. Don't ever start attempting question 1. Why do I say so? You have 3 hours. And I can bet it with you, if you attempt question 1 first, the tendency that you will not spend close to 1 hour, 30 minutes to 2 hours on only question 1, the probability is very low. From experience, I will tell you, the probability is very, very low. If you start with question 1 and you only attempt question 1 using 2 hours, how do you want to attempt the other 4 questions? So if it's only one question, the question 1 that you attempt, and then you do not attempt the other 4 questions, you are coming back to write. That is another technique there. Then the third technique in answering of your question, they say attempt 5 questions. Please, please ensure that you attempt 5 questions. If it's only 1C that you know, if it's only 2B that you know in a question, just attempt it and write it down. And if you check through a question and the first one that you know is let's say number 3C that you know, 3C, please, you are allowed to answer question 3C first under question 3. You are allowed, please. That is another one for that. Then the other one that I will tell you is this. Please always answer each question on a fresh page. Don't muddle up your answers. I wrote SFM. When I wrote my own paper, I wrote 5. I passed 4 and I failed 1 at the professional level. What I failed was SFM. And the reason why I failed, I knew because I answered question 7 and question 5 on the same page. Meaning the front page, I put question 5. At the back of that page, I answered question 7 there. And then I knew I would fail. So always answer fresh question on fresh page. And if your answer booklet is exhausted, request for more. We have more in the exam more. Request for more. Please and please. These are little strategies. Please and please, I'm begging you. When they say write your number on your booklet, write your number. When they say tear up, there will be always a space that they will ask you to tear up. Make sure you write your registration number on that slip that you are to tear away. And when it's time for them to submit, please submit. When it's time for you to submit your questions, please always go to the front page of your answers and write down the numbers, how you attempted those questions. If it's question 3 you attempted first, put it there. Question 3 in the front. There's always a line. Write down the questions you attempted. It's also a strategy, but I won't say it on here. I will say it on the cloud here, online here. It's also a strategy for you to write those questions that you attempt. So on this note, I want to wish you the very best. For my FR student, I know you are good, and for the FM student, the SBR student, the case study student, I know you are good, and I know that for you to have put in those efforts, I'm too confident that all of you will pass, and then you are not going to repeat this particular course again in the subsequent diet. I wish you all the very best, and I hope that I will hear a very good feedback from you. Thank you so much for your time.
Christy, are you there? Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Yes, yes, I am. Thank you very much, Mr. Ebenezer. Thank you very much. At the point he was saying, he said, write your registration number. Please, he meant exam number, not registration number. You don't write your registration number in the hall. He meant exam numbers, please, so that we'll not have it at the back of our mind and say, oh, Mr. Ebenezer said write registration number. Please, it is your exam number you're supposed to write. Nobody's supposed to know your registration
Exam
number
number,
in the
exam
hall.
number, no
It's
registration
exam
number.
number,
I'm
please.
begging you.
Exam number, please. Thank you very much. At this point, Mr. Ibrahim, I think we are done with the profession. Yes, I want to add something to the advanced tax. Please, those of us writing advanced tax, let us familiarize ourselves. I think most of the questions come in form of a memo or report. You're supposed to write a report. In the report is where you have your answer, right? So please let us learn the structure of that letter form, the report, the memo. It is very important for those of us writing advanced taxation. Mr. Ibrahim, I think we're done with the professional level, right?
Um, yes, thank you so much, Christy. I
Okay.
think we're almost done. We still have okay, case study, right? We discuss that one in class, right?
Okay.
So thank you. So we I think yes, we are done with professional level, so we need to move to the skills level, right? Now, the thing is, in addition to what my Oga just said, you need to first, you don't need to rush to solve question because the question is, let's say, EPV, because no, because the question is international investments. You want to show no, you have to, the first thing you need to do, the required of the question. I know I failed. I have reference in PM, I think about two times, twice, right, twice to three times. It's not because I don't know what I'm doing, right? It's just because I'm too confident that okay, this thing is not learning curve, is not linear programming, right? So we need to like understand the required of the question. That is very, very important. So please, required of the question. The first thing is to do is to understand that okay, this is the requirement of this question. The second is to ask yourself which topic. So when you know the topic, ask yourself. The next question you should ask yourself is the principle, or if it is adjusted present value, or if it is cost of capital. What are the principle? You identify the sources of finance. When you identify the sources of finance, you calculate the cost of capital. What do you do? The total market value, hash total, the WACC. These are the things you need to ask yourself. Then immediately after that, you now go to the question and read. Now you are reading with the mindset of bringing out all the ingredients from the question. You're not reading with the mindset of knowing you're not reading the mind with the mindset of you want to know the topic. You already know the topic, but you are reading out with the mindset of just extracting the items, the ingredients from from the question. Please, understanding of the question, the required of the question is also very, very important. Now, the performance management students, okay, performance management at skills level. You see, one thing about PM is very dynamic, very, very dynamic. It is sometimes It's difficult to predict. Yes. Oh, yes. Sometimes, what is it called? Performance management, very, very difficult to predict, right? But then there are some things we know that is even constant K. We know that our decision making. Imagine someone want to write PM. You don't know, you don't understand limiting factor, right? Limiting factor, relevant costing, throughput accounting, linear programming, right? And you want to write PM. Now juju be that too. There's problem because these are very, very important topic. They are decision making. Do you know what their weight? It takes about 30% or 30% to 35% of the syllabus. Linear programming, they take about 30% or 35% of the syllabus. And you are going to write PM without having an understanding of this. No. And usually they are compulsory question, right? Usually they are compulsory question. I think last diet I was even saying, oh, maybe limiting factor or limiting factor, linear programming, relevant costing, and I actually mentioned one topic as well that it may actually be a compulsory question. I think what was tested is what relevant costing, right? So class, so we just need to like understand that these are the decision makings are very important. You see that those topics that we took in intensive class, I think some enter my DM and they say, oh, what about transfer pricing, what about variance? We've done all these things in class. In fact, we use about, I think Omaga took that variance analysis for like how many days, maybe 4 days to 3 days, right? So it's enough. And transfer pricing, I use about 2 weeks to take transfer pricing. So, you know, you may be see, you may be you the expectation now is the walk back transfer pricing, not it may be walk back transfer pricing. You have to do a walk back. The last question I solved in class, you have to do a walk back to get that particular figure, right? So your decision making, all your decision making, they are very important. Now, this is the strategy. If you check for like 2 diets now, I think CVP, not be saying CVP, I think for like 2 diets now, no CVP, right? CVP. But the kind of budget we're seeing are all those production budgets, but we're not seeing other budget like what is it called? Profitability, like cash budget. Yes, those long cash budget. We'll not be seeing all those things, right? If you look at it very well, if you check, you will see that learning curve, they've even like they don't like for like 3 diet to 6 diet. I think for like 3 to 4 diets, no learning curve questions, no learning curve at all, right? So we expect that, oh, this diet, there may be learning curve, right? And when you understand all the decision making question, what are the decision topic, the limiting factor, what is it called, the transfer pricing, the throughput accounting, the linear programming, right? And if you check variance because they tested it for like 2 diets like that, right? Variance. But I'm looking at another part of variance, which is the advanced variance, the operational and planning variance, because it's been a long time. I can't text that topic, right? So the corporate failure, you see that corporate failure is also a new topic, right? Started from what is it called? From SFM to PM. So, and all other written aspects of performance management. You know, the management tools, the tactical management, all those management information, all those parts are also very, very important. That is why I said at the beginning of my discussion, I said to predict PM is very, like, PM is very dynamic because you can just say, but decision making, I'm sure of decision making and some other aspects, which is the learning curve, right? The learning curve, right? If you see activity-based costing has actually been coming. I think it was tested last diet, right? Yes, even the diet, it was also tested, right? So that is it, right? I think that's what I have in performance management. Now, financial management is actually a new course at Ican level, right? The new course at Ican level. Now, when you look at it very well, you will see objective of a financial management, investment appraiser, working capital, business finance, valuation, then the risk management, that is CIS. You see, let me just tell you the truth today, right? The truth is that you see that risk management, right? I can may want to test it, but I've said it several times that, see, you have about 7 questions, and they said attempt. You see the risk management part of it. I purposely did not take it because of one or two reasons. If we start down and we use another 2 weeks for risk management. So I mentioned something. I said you can just freestyle it. You cover all others, man, all other topics. Then you just to have the idea of what is there. And I actually shared the YouTube link where you can have all this idea of, oh, this is for spot rate. This is what is it called? Forward rate. Oh, this is what which other stuff? Okay, interest rate parity, purchasing power parity, and all that. So I actually shared. So I don't know where exactly the institute want to with test question, because the syllabus is actually wide. If you look at it, you can look at it like, all right, the syllabus is, but I'm sure that the beginning of that topic, the beginning, which is objective of financial management. You see, all the questions that we solved in class together and in that intensive class, make sure you go back to it and do what? And practice them very well. Because when I saw some people sending some questions, I would just, this question is not for you, right? These questions are not for you. They are SFM questions. There are some questions, if you look at even in the syllabus, even in the study, but they say, okay, this thing, this is what we will test, right? So make sure you don't just solve because you want to solve question. Solve to understand the principle, not to just solve question. Understand the principle behind it, right? It is what very, very important. So I think I'm done. FM, PM, right? FM and PM. I think I'm done. Christy.
Okay, yes, thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. I think we missed advanced audit for professional level, or audit in general on professional level. But just like I said, I am not rich in telling people area of concentration because it's not my style. However, I want us to know that audit is a very funny course. In fact, I used to say that audit is very demonic. It's funny because it looks like a very small pack, maybe how many chapters in it, but in that small chapters, you have a lot of things you can write in it. And that is why I keep telling people, do not neglect how audit is. Do not feel like, oh, audit is theory, therefore I'm not going to spend so much time in audit. It is not true, because audit can keep you in professional level. I know someone writing audit 6 times. This is the 6th time he's going to write audit. So if you underestimate audit, Ican has a way to underestimate you too. So I think in audit, I think we should pay attention to internal control. It's very important. And one thing I also want to say in audit is, please speak the language. Audit has a language. Speak their language. I think that's what I wrote advanced audit twice. And I think I knew the reason why I failed advanced audit the first time, probably because I didn't speak the language they wanted. But the second time, when I came back to write it, in fact, fortunately, I think I appreciated the fact that I failed it the first time. The second time, I I had to speak the language they wanted me to speak in. And I was very expansive when I was writing, right? And then again, please, when we are writing audits, let us not cluster our answers. I always tell people when you're writing your audit, bullet your answers. It is easier that way. When you bullet your answers, examiners will see what you're writing clearer, and it will even make more sense to you that is writing the question. But when you write it in form of a letter, you're writing a note, you're writing English, going line by line and all of that, it can be a bit confusing. But when you bullet your answer, you see that you'll be able to, just like Mr. Ebenezer said, the strategy. When you bullet your answers and your answers are making sense, obviously, you have a way of telling the examiner, oh, you know what you're writing, and your work is clear enough for them to understand what you're writing. But when you cluster your work, it becomes a bit confusing. And invigilators, these people, they mark with time. The more papers they mark, the more money they get. So they will not waste time trying to read and figure out what you're writing. They will just give you the mark they see fit. Do you get? So for advanced tax, they introduced forensic for audit. So I think we should all read forensics. Let's look at our forensics. Then internal control. Most times they test internal control. So let us read our internal control as well. And audit evidence is, in fact, shall let us read everything, because I am, like I said, I am not rich in telling people, please focus on this thing. I'm not rich in doing that. So please let us have an idea of what all of these things. Audit is not too big. The chapters are not too much. So we can easily read, but in as much as these chapters are not too much, you can easily get confused when you're reading audits, because audit is most times it's just like Mr. Audit is when you're working in an audit firm, it's easier for you to write audits when you're working in audit. So honestly, just try to cover as much as you can cover in audits. Just and speak the language they want you to speak. That's why audit is different from every other course. There's a particular language they want you to speak. You have to speak the language of a professional auditor. That's what they want you to do. Mr. Beniza, please, you can throw more light on audit because you're rich in audit department. If you're there, Mr. Beniza. Okay, Mr. Ibrahim.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Let's since Mr. Ebenezer is not here, we can move to PSAF. I think Miss PSAF is the only topic in skills level right now.
Okay. Thank you so much. If you check the PSAF pack, you see that public sector, you see public sector accounting and finance, right? You see the public finance parts, right? Right. I can usually test question on that public finance. It may be maybe 20 marks question or 15 marks question. So if I were you see that finance, public finance. Well, and what is even there in the public finance? The cost benefits analysis, the IRR, the internal debt, Paris loan, all those things. These are the things that are the what is it called? The public finance part, right? Of the study part. So that side, the institute normally set like at least 3 questions, maybe 2 to 3 questions, because they know that so then we not read that part because of the bulkiness of the word of the study pack, right? Very, very important, please. So then thereafter you can now check for the whole of budget, right? The whole of budget, you understand your the part of pension. You see, recently we see that the institute have been setting questions. Question one on financial performance, which is still your knowledge of financial reporting, and still help in what in your PSAF, right? And that is very. Imagine you have 3 marks from public finance. You have 3 questions from public finance, maybe 20, 20, and 15 marks, and this is about maybe you can take 40 out of it, right? And I'm sure that question will always come from public finance. We check, go and check the syllabus, go and check the previous questions and all that. Then you can now move to the fund, the budget, the pension, right, and the financial performance. So all those parts are also very important. I think that is what I have to say on public sector accounting and finance. Thank you. Christy.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. The first chapter 1 to 4 is important. Please familiarize yourself with it. Budget, just like Mr. Ibrahim said, budget is very, I have never come across a diet, maybe very few, where budget is not tested. It's either tested theoretically or in form of calculations. Then public finance, which is the last section in that your syllabus. Please, if you can read that public finance from letter A in that public finance to the last letter, you, in fact, you're sure that you're getting yourself 30 marks, because most times it comes in section C in the hall, which is 15 marks or 30 marks. If they throw 2 questions from public finance, that's already 30 marks, right? Then your budget, most times it comes in 20 marks section B. So please read your public finance. There is no way a question will not come out in public finance. There is no way. Because I know that PSAF is voluminous, most of us do not finish the syllabus. Yes, and most of us do not finish the syllabus because the standards there somehow are related to the standards we encounter in FR, right? So some of us are not, most times we're not able to read, but we can still apply the knowledge we have. It's just standards. We can still apply the knowledge we have in the IFRS, and then we'll use it to answer. But your public sector is very, very crucial. It is important, even though you don't read anything in PISA, please read that public sector. It is very, very important. Then budget. Public sector is rich in budget. Those of us that work in public sector, everything they do, then when you go to their offices, it is budget. Hence the reason why I can always test them on budget. So please and please let us read the budget, either theoretically or in form of calculation. Budget will always come. And then the first 3-4 chapters of that, the chapters before that budget, please let us familiarize and read it. Like I said, I'm not rich in AOC, but then there are strategic topics that I can usually test. Just like you have in advanced tax, there is no way ICAN will not test you in petroleum tax. There is no way they will not test you in capital allowance. It is impossible for ICAN not to test you in capital allowance. It is impossible. So we know that these topics are usually tested. So we tell people to have a mastery of that skill so that you don't spend time writing, trying to solve a question because you did not practice it properly. Do you get? So yes, and on that note, generally, I think this is the last thing I'll have to say as regards to preparation and all of that. Generally, I would like to say, as much as we are giving you, we are telling you areas that are likely, where we don't know what's going to come out, right? As long as we are saying, as much as we are saying areas that are likely to come out, please let us not neglect all other topics. It is very, very, very important. And I'll tell you this for a fact that when I wrote PM, I used to tell people this. Something happened in the diets. I wrote PM. I think PM then had, I think about 30 chapters. I cannot remember actually. But I covered, for instance, out of 30 chapters, I covered 27 chapters. And I said to myself, I will gamble these other 3 chapters. Nothing will happen, at least, even if I don't answer questions. Other chapters should be able to pass me. But guess what happened? And one of those chapters I did not study was risk and uncertainty. But guess what happened? When I entered the hall, question number 1, 30 marks was risk and uncertainty. I did not know anything there. My eyes already turned red. I didn't know anything. And then I said, okay, fine, 30 marks. I'm now fighting for 70 marks. I went to question number 2, risk and uncertainty, 20 marks. I had already lost 50 marks. Now, what is the probability that the remaining 50 marks I'm going to get it? So when I closed my eyes, I realized that, oh, Christy, I was already crying in the hall because I knew that I'd already failed PM and I'm going to come back in the next 6 months to come and write PM. But fortunately, I failed it, and I will say fortunately because it gave me I learned something. And what did I learn? I learned not to underestimate Ican. And the next night, I studied everything. I did not miss out anything. I studied everything. And when I came back, I wrote my PM and I passed it. So please, what I'm trying to say is, please and please, let us try as much as possible. I know that right now, every information is too much. We don't even know what to do. But let us try to see that we familiarize with everything so that even if they decide to bring any topic, we will not be blank. We will not say, oh, I don't know what to write here. Because the moment we start having that idea that, oh, I do not know what to write here, it's already a pathway to failure because you'll be discouraged in the hall. I know when you enter that hall, there are a lot of demons flying in the air so that the demon will not see our weakness and then clap on it. So please and please, on that note, I wish you guys success and I wish you the best. And I believe that all of us will enter that hall and will write and come out happy. Mr. Ibrahim, thank you very much.
Right, thank you so much, Christy, for that. Okay, Mr. Beniza, are you there? Do you have okay? Before we go, Mr. Razak, Mr. Razak, okay, Mr. Ebenezer, are you there? So, Christy, just give us your final comment before we go, please. I think that's all.
Congratulations, everyone. I believe that all of us, we are going to pass. Please, we don't need to be scared. It is exhausting studying. Me too, I don't like ICA. It is exhausting. I know it is exhausting. It's tiring because the only thing you have to do is go to work, come back and read. You don't get to go out. You don't get to hang out with friends. So please and please, it's just one more step we need to take. And what is that one more step? Just for us to prepare and be ready and write the exam. After that, we are going to relax. And I know that the most difficult part of this thing is the waiting period when we are waiting for the results to come out. Yes, that waiting period, that 1 month waiting period can be very, very exhausting. But I believe that all of us will go there, write this exam, come out with flying colors. And I wish you guys the very, very best because at this point, that is the only thing I can do for you is to wish you guys success and put you in my prayers. That is the only thing I can do. And please do not give devil, do not tell devil that you're scared. The devil has a way of clamoring on your weakness. And when you show the devil that you're weak, that's when the devil wants to take advantage of it. So please and please, let us build our confidence and then be ready for the exam on Tuesday. For those of us starting on Tuesday, I wish you success. On Monday, print your docket, prepare it, pack it in your bag, and be ready for the exam. A day to the exam, you should be relaxing, relax your brain, please. A day to the exam, relax your brain because most times at that point, there's nothing you will read that will enter again because you're already tense and your brain is full. Your brain is full. So I wish you guys success and I wish you the very, very best. And I'll keep praying for you guys. Thank you so, so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Christy, for that. On that note, I think we have to go. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and I wish you all the best in your forthcoming examination. Thank you, everyone, and bye for now.